We have a call that specifically mentions you. So we have Minh in Walnut Creek, California. Thanks for waiting. You're on with Denis.
Yay. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Just fine. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So my probably will be not long because I just want to ask you, Dennis, about your response to people who say that if they don't have religion, then what they have in replacement. You said that it's like if you don't have cancer, then you don't wish something else to replace it, right?
So let me. This happened years and years ago. Somebody emailed in to nonprofits. I believe you and I were sitting there at my old apartment, and they said, "Hey, when you get rid of religion, what do you replace it with?"
Right.
And Denis, brilliantly, without missing a beat, said, "I don't know. When you cure cancer, what do you replace it with?"
Right. You replace it with health.
The elimination of the cancer is the thing.
Right. So.
But I guess but I think like religion is not exactly like cancer though. I think
it affects far more people. It's more insidious than cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so I guess like you think that religion is cancer as in like it's bad, right? It's really, really.
Yes, it twists everything. The title of who said religion poisons everything?
Religion poisons everything.
Yeah, it does. It makes things we consider. It makes things that an ordinary person would consider good evil, and things that an ordinary person would consider evil good. I mean, it's bizarro world. It's horrible.
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't you think that religion is more like bacteria instead of cancer?
Now we're back to Daryl Ray and the God virus.
Yes. Yeah, because I feel like, because in like, for example, in our gut, we have a lot of bacteria, right?
Yeah.
And we even have E. coli in our intestine, but certain strain of E. coli is harmful. So I guess, if religion is like bacteria, like it can be beneficial to people, but
no. You don't get to take Denis's analogy and then say it's actually more like bacteria, so that you can argue that some bacteria is good. First of all, you'd have to show what religion or what aspects of religion are good, because as far as I can tell, there's nothing good and true about religion that requires religion or requires that religion to be true. There are plenty of people who do good things on behalf of their religion, but it has more to do with the fact that they're good. And when you look at the good things that people do on behalf of their religions, they almost always, and I won't say always, but almost always dilute the good. It's like, oh, hey, we have a ministry and we come down here and we feed the homeless. Right. Yeah, you do. But you're also requiring them to stand there and listen to a sermon first or whatever else. And if you're not, if you're just going down and doing good for people who are homeless, then you might as well come out with Atheists Helping the Homeless or Humanists at Work and do it. Because if there's no religion involved, that's exactly what the rest of us are doing. Just give them the damn sandwich, give them the socks, do whatever you need to do to help people out without the religious baggage. Once you add the religious baggage, now all of a sudden you have diluted the good that's there.
And the religious baggage casts suspicions on motives just by its very nature.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing a good thing, are you doing it because it's a good thing, or are you doing it to curry favor with God, who is going to reward you and not punish you because you did this good thing?
Now, at the end of the day,
I don't know.
I'm fine with somebody doing a good thing even if they have bad motivations, because a good thing still got done.
Right.
But I would much rather build a world where people do good things because they're good.
Now, the obvious thing that people would point to as a religion doing a good thing is it provides comfort for people in terrible situations.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Would you try to disabuse your dying mother of her, religious belief that she'll rejoin her husband in heaven when she dies, and you got to go, I'm going to let that float.
Yeah. But it's not that. So one of the things is that like what Denis is talking about, I'm not convinced that that's doing any good. As a matter of fact, I would argue that when we talk about death and dying, that religion's doing incredible harm by giving people the notion that they're going to be able to reconcile with loved ones in some hereafter, and that this may prevent some people from reconciling in the here and now, which is the only life we know we're going to get. Does that make sense, Minh?
Yes, Matt. I guess because I just say that as something I observe in history, like people like Gandhi who use the Bhagavad Gita as a motivation for his peaceful protest against the British Empire, and Martin Luther King Jr. He's a Baptist minister, right? And he used his faith to fight against discrimination against Black people. So that's why I think that it's motivate people to do something.
So let's take a look at that.
At the same time, the terrorists who fly into the building of our country and it's September 11, of course. So that's why I think religion is like bacteria. It can be
right.
It depends on the strain.
Some are parasitic and some are symbiotic. So
here's the thing: it's not like there's a verse in the Bible that Martin Luther King Jr. could point to suggest that African Americans should have equal rights. As a matter of fact, the Bible was used to support the slave trade and the slave notion behind that as well. But it's only through cherry picking that we get to that. Like if you can go to like the Declaration of Independence, where we're like all men are created equal, which is not the case and not created. The fact that people can point to some verse or passage in their holy book and think that their religion is moving them towards a good goal is completely independent from where that goal came from and originated. And I'm pretty sure, while I can't say positively, I'm pretty sure that Martin Luther King Jr.'s view of equal rights was based on empathy with other human beings and himself and his family and his ancestors to watch how they weren't being treated equal and how absurd and cruel and immoral this was to set up a group of people as if they were different and property, et cetera.
Right.
That is not an idea that comes out of Judaism, Christianity, et cetera. It's something that people inject into it. You can make the Bible support almost any position you have, and if you can make it support good things. I could say, you know what? I know the Bible says things that advocate for violence, including hey, go kill all these people and keep the young virgins for yourself. But it also says turn the other cheek. And so by picking the verse that says turn the other cheek, I could use that as a foundation for nonviolent protest. You can make, through selection, the books say almost whatever you want. But the truth is, all of that is originating from a human mind, engaging in thought and empathy and recognizing what kind of world do I want. Because in truth, much like the first caller, who has God as the architect of everything, if you're going to go with Christianity, then this life does not matter. This life, as the Bible would say, is like dirty road.
Right.
The only thing to focus on is the life to come. Even in elections, we're in an election year here in the United States, and why would you vote if the Bible says all leaders are appointed by God? If no matter who wins the election, it's strange because, if Obama wins, there's a bunch of religious nuts.
That's terrible.
He's the Antichrist. And when Trump wins, the same thing happens, or somebody says, oh, he's God's chosen.
Coming. Yeah.
But if the Bible actually says that all leaders are appointed by God, then you have no reason to object to anybody or anything. There can be no revolution. As a matter of fact, the founding of the United States, by throwing off the king, an act of revolution against a leader who, according to the Bible, was appointed by God, I mean, that must have been a sinful act, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, religions are like cancer, and then when you try to point out that they're not all equally deadly. Neither is every cancer. You know, I'm probably going to end up with some skin cancer spot at some point or another.
Oh, yeah.
And I can go in and have it removed. And that's fundamentally different from a dozen other different cancerous things. Anyway, thanks for calling in, Minh, to remind us of Denis and I in the good old days.
Yeah, there's one point there was I'm sometimes answering questions on Quora, which is an interesting place to go, and the questions are insane. But
you're the guy.
One of them is one of the questions was, are atheists better than theists? And I go, well, no, but we do have one less bias. By definition, we have one less bias.
Oh, that's not true, though.
No?
So you would assume that, like me and the religious me have all the same biases, except religious me had an additional one.
You had an additional bias, right?
But I may have additional biases now that I didn't have before.
Right.
So, but we have eliminated. Ooh,
interesting. We have one less source of bias.
I did that with my mind.
That was weird.
And that's why you should email your prayers in on postcards, particularly those with cats or dogs or things.
Right.
But yeah, so you're not wrong.
Yeah. So who's your nemesis then? If you're answering the prayers, who is the evil one that would cause these weird?
Well, unlike some other gods, I haven't actually bothered to create a nemesis.
Ah, okay.
I thought that would be a little bit self-serving to say, you know what, I'm all-knowing and all-powerful. And it really doesn't make sense for me to do anything, and it really doesn't make sense for me to even create beings or interact with them at all, because I already know everything that would happen.
Right.
And, some of them are going to suffer, and that seems kind of needless. Maybe it would be good if I created someone that I could blame the bad things on, and then I could play my little game with my army men. And
right. Your little toys, and then just,
I realized
it's not my fault.
Yeah, it'd be a shame. I mean, if you go read the book of Job, you've got, Lucifer there who's, like, hey, I don't think this guy is as good as you think he is. I'd like to test him. Can I go fuck up his life for a while? And God's like, go do it.
Knock yourself out.
You'll see. Take my blessed servant and just be a dick to him for a while there. Because, we had a $5 bet,
Right.
It's like, or $1 bet and be like Trading Places.